How we doing today? Good into the week. Today was just a day that you don't really ever expect to get too much going on because of a Friday with no high impact news drivers after a pretty solid week. And I kind of want to just go over my weekly review and kind of mistakes I made this week and the things I did well this week. Because there's not really too much to go over for today's price action. To go through that real quick, my main drawn liquidity was this 4-hour fair value gap, which we end up meeting, right? So on a day like this, it's not really one of those days where I'm expecting us to pull into this fair value gap and really expand higher, especially not without good structure, right? Coming in to the morning, we had this structure from overnight on the hourly. We had this accumulation. We end up manipulating the high. We end up having an SMT off open. This is the SMT of note, right? ES at the time we had at 8:45, right? We had an SMT. We have a divergence there. And then bunch of chop work. This kind of made my decision very easy for today, which is chopping the new day opening gap, but we have a lot of chop work, right? We never reach into this 1 hour imbalance. And then when the macro opens, we actually get displacement lower, even though it's still choppy. We have a 5-minute fair value gap form that we end up pulling into and respecting. And that was the catalyst to then see the drawn liquidity, which was lower, right? We were holding a new week opening gap very strong after we displaced through it, pull back to the inefficiency, which is also, we have a little volume imbalance that we held, which was consequent encroachment of the 5-minute. What do we get? We get displacement lower again. Chop work because it is a Friday where we're not really expecting much. And then we get the continuation to this low, and we're continuing to sell, right? I wouldn't have had any expectation to keep going lower. But since we are, and now kind of it makes you feel like you want to draw to these new week opening gaps, fill the 4-hour imbalance. Who knows, right? Who really knows what's going to happen on a Friday like this? Just because of where we've been this week, right? Where we've been this week has been, where did the week open? The week opened, did it just open here? We had a little bit more chop than I remembered, and then we had a big expansion move higher on yesterday at FOMC, and then we had a continuation of FOMC. FOMC Thursday. This is Friday's price action. It makes sense that we're kind of retracing to get closer to the original consolidation, the original range of the week. Overall a fun week and a lot that I learned from. Today, the only trade that I would have wanted to take would have been some sort of long out of this 4-hour, right? If we got an inversion of this, maybe that would have been a trade. But now when we're so much lower, doesn't really entice me too much. At this point, there's just nothing I would take. My account is locked, so it ends with no trades. So if we go to that account and we look at the stats, right, this week ended up being a $45 week, right? Yesterday, we only made $60, but it was a very good day, very good trade. But that's the reality of, trading. And the reason why trading is so difficult to do is because this is what my months and weeks look like on my eval right now. Right, we have $300 week, negative 500, 118, $800 week, $300 week, negative 700, $45, right? It's a slow grind because I make a lot of mistakes still. I don't capitalize on the great days, which again, this is fine. I did my job this day. I did my job yesterday and made $60, but I could have risked more. I could have made more. I could have done more. I could have capitalized more, right? And that's just where I'll need to get to if I'm ever trying to, really start making gains with trading. But that's fine. That's the process. This is the hard part with trading. This is the hard part. This is why trading takes so long to get successful at, is because although tomorrow I could take a trade and make $1,000, if I don't have the skill set or the ability or the consistency or the habits to continuously do that, then it doesn't do anything for me. So I have to sit here at the low stakes and, build up my bankroll, build up my tolerance basically at the low stakes, and then eventually I'll be able to do, nice days where I'll be able to copy trade multiple accounts, and I'll be able to receive payouts, and I'll be able to trade, across multiple accounts that actually are express accounts, and make, five, or like make risk 200 across 4 or 5 accounts. And if you make a 1-to-1, that's $1,000 day on 5 accounts. Or if you make a 2-to-1, that's a $2,000 day. Like, these days and these numbers aren't out of reach. It's just the skill and the mindset and the ability to get there. And that's what takes so long with trading. Because what's hard today is that today I couldn't make any progress towards getting funded, which is the goal, right? The goal, but I have to recognize the conditions of the week. Right, the economic calendar is very important. Today I could anticipate bad price action. Even though price had the SMT, we displaced lower, right? During the macro, we pulled back to a 5-minute imbalance and we respected it, right? Price action made sense, but look how inefficient this price action was. Look how choppy this was, right? This would have faked that we were going to go higher here, and then we end up selling, and then we're selling off big now. Like, this is very inefficient price in the morning, but it was something that we could learn to expect, right? And that's the tough part with trading, is that I had to come in today with the expectation that I wasn't going to really stick a trade. And that's frustrating when you want to have all these goals of passing the fundeds, getting payouts. And when I wrote down in my journal today was no high impact news drivers today after a big expansion move this week. Could expect a less probable day, should more than likely sit on the sideline / paper trade. Don't want to let greed take over and me chase a potential win on a day I know won't be very high probability. So happy that I didn't take a loss or take any trades, because in the moment, right, I saw this model right here, or not model, but I saw this entry right here. We had an SMT with ES at the time. ES was delivering from the higher time frame imbalance, and I was kind of ignoring the fact that I wanted to see this get met on the NQ as well. I was like, oh, SMT. So I ended up jumping into a trade here on the paper, but it was something that I wouldn't have minded taking on my actual account. That would end up being a loss, right? And I was going to target this 15-minute imbalance for first take profit and break even, and then let my runner run to here. And this trade, in a sense, looks all right, but I have to take into consideration the previous price action, right? The previous price action shows that this inverse right here failed completely, and the higher time frame narrative is lower, right? So why would I just be fighting so zoomed in, right? This was a trade I took on paper that's just so zoomed in, right? This SMT right here and this inverse means absolutely nothing in relation to economic data, right? That we aren't expecting high probability conditions. So this is not enough to give me confluence on a day where we already don't expect much. And then this inverse is just chop. It's just chop on the higher time frame. When we're in a higher time frame, right, what are we doing on the higher time frame? The higher time frame, we haven't done anything other than sweep liquidity, have an SMT at the high, displace lower, and our drawn liquidity is this low. And now that we're really displacing, definitely longs are completely out of the question for me, if I was even considering trading. And now I'd be more looking for 15-minute structure. But yeah, we have the new day opening gap and the new week opening gap, right? For this trade to be valid, I would have needed to see an inverse and see continuation and see some displacement, right? This was just this was not a good trade, and I need to learn. Even though I took it on paper, I need to recognize that this was never a good setup, and that should never be happening because of the narrative behind the market, right? That same setup could work on a day where you're anticipating better price action, and then you're anticipating expansion. But we also have to consider the fact that ES has taken out this high, so we completed the buy model on ES, which has an SMT, and we have an SMT with the all-time highs. So there's a lot of confluences telling us that we don't need to do anything right now other than build more structure, which is what we're starting to do. But it's hard to accept that going into days, right? So that's where I think the first mistakes would have came today. But again, that's just kind of my review on today's price action. And again, objectively, price action moved the way it was supposed to and the way it would make sense. But then when you try and force expectations and force wanting a long out of the 4-hour fair value gap, then you're going to get blindsided from, where price is actually delivering to. So that's what I kind of want to note today is that if I were to have taken that trade, it would have been out of greed, would have been out of being too zoomed in, and it just wouldn't have been good. So Thursday, right, now that Thursday has passed us, which was yesterday, yesterday's price action was here, right? We took a great trade in here. If I would have had more conviction with this model, I could have held multiple contracts. And if I were risking $200, then I could have had a, let's see, lot size is $200. I could have had a risk of around 5 micros. We could have said 5 micros there. And if we got 5 micros, we could have taken off 3 at this high, maybe 1 at next high. We have a high over here somewhere. Let's mark them out. Right, we could have taken some at this high and then this high. So this is just nitpicking, but this is objectively, this is a trade we took yesterday, and it was a great model. We had a lot of confluence, a lot of conviction. Why do I have more conviction with this model than I would just having an inverse here? Well, because I swept the low in a higher time frame imbalance. We displace, we inverse bearish structure, and then we hold bullish structure. So this is very, very solid. But this trade here, again, I could have gotten in here. I could have scaled. If we took 5, realistically, I scale 3 at this high. I'll scale 3 here. And then that would be 28, 25. So 3 right there. 28 times 6, $160. Then we would scale 1 more at this high, so plus 36. 36, that would be 240, and we'd go to break even, and then we would held our runner to this high, and that would have been 94 plus 94. So that could have been a $430 trade, right? And again, I say could have because it could have, right? We could have taken the same model and had conviction, risked our allotted $200, right? $200 on this, we could have risked 20 points. We could have risked this inverse fair value gap, and then we had a fair value gap also created, right? So we could have taken this with risk there, the same risk, or we could have had a bigger stop loss and taken 3 contracts and then just taken off 2 here and then let my runner run higher. Regardless, it would have still been a bigger than $60 day if we were trusting our model more, because yesterday I was risking $30 to make 60. So whatever we would have risked, we could have made double. But that is fine, right? But that's just where we could get better. That's one of the things I want to review on for this week is Thursday. That $60 day could look a lot closer to 200 minimum plus, and 240 plus, right? And then we obviously know it hits the objective, so it would have been a $400 something trade. But regardless, it would have still been a bigger day to add to our books, right? And we just didn't get that. FOMC day, very, very happy to not take in a trade. But if we remember, right, FOMC had pretty clean price delivery that we learned a lot from. So on Friday, it was still a great day because we had very clean price signature, right? We had a 15-minute imbalance here, and we had a 5-minute imbalance that we held here. And I was bearish because we were in a higher time frame fair value gap. We had 3 drive. We swept out these highs of pre-market. We had displaced lower. We had held the imbalance. We came down again. We rejected new day opening gap. We came back up. We respected the 15-minute. We had an SMT. We had turtle soup at this high. We displaced lower. We inversed the 5-minute. We held the 5-minute, and we sold off through this low. Anything after would be a bonus. We did not quite get this low, which is fine, but that was a great day. Even when we were deciding not to trade, it was still a great day. FOMC, there's no need for me to try and trade it, but in terms of the bigger model, FOMC did its job. We ended up sweeping this low, right here, and we had our expansion move higher. FOMC expanded after sweeping liquidity. We swept this low, we swept data low, we swept this low. We had a high of data high and the equal highs that we've been looking for a while. And then price ends up very, very well delivering, right? We open, and we have a nice expansion here, or a nice open, new day opening gap open. We expand higher, we hold this imbalance, and we have our expansion, right? And then the continuation to Thursday. So that was a great day, right? A good no trade day. If we did trade, we probably could have taken a winner or so, but again, a very nice day to not trade. Thursday was a very nice day. I believe, if I remember right, I think I took a trade in here. Thursday, 16, and what day is it now? 20. So Thursday was here. We were delivering out of the new week opening gap and a 1 hour imbalance, I believe, or maybe even a 4 hour, but I think it was a 1 hour. And this was my first entry. Again, I needed to have more confidence in this entry holding. But where we could have done better this day was our first entry. We could have just held our stop loss, and we would have been well on our way, right? Even if we took this with 2 micros, let's just say that we just took with the 2 micros since it was an early entry, right? And then we were risking still less than 200, right? And then maybe we even risked less like that. Our first take profit could have been here, could have been at this level, and then that would have been 66 points, so that would have been 130-ish, and our second take profit would have been here. More than likely, this move would have stopped me out somehow, even if I was at break even, because I probably would have trailed something, or I probably would have trailed to this, expecting this to be the move. Who knows? But in the perfect world, we don't get stopped out, and it hits full take profit. So even on 2 micros, still would have been a great day. But what did we end up doing? We ended up being scared, getting stopped out of this first trade for break even, and then entering back up here, and then adding here, and then scaling out with the SMT because ES created an SMT. And then the best entry of the day, in my opinion, was here on the 30-second because we hold this imbalance and a 5-minute inverse and a 5-minute fair value gap with low resistance liquidity when we're expecting bullish price and we're expecting this to get taken, with the new week opening gaps right above. Very, very clean price delivery. And then I didn't really pay attention to anything after that point, but it does look like we sell off pretty well. Let me see the structure there because that's actually pretty interesting to me. Yes, this was pretty interesting because we end up taking this high again. We just had a 3 drive, 1, 2, 3, and then we end up holding this 5-minute fair value gap right here. We end up holding this, and then we hold consequent encroachment of it very well. We displace lower, chop through 12, then lunch hour opens. We get big displacement to the downside. I don't really think I'd trade anything through here because my day was obviously done in this buy model, but I'm sure that there's opportunities for people in this action. But then this just is a lot of chop through here. So maybe not any trades, but in terms of the market moving, it moved pretty effectively to take out these lows. And then Monday was the 16th, I believe. 16, 15, 13. Maybe the 15th. No, the 16th, yeah. 16th, Monday. What happened Monday? I believe I just took a boatload of losses. Yeah, Monday was rough. I ended up taking a 5-minute here, and I want to check over the economic calendar again, because Monday we had no news. It was a no news Monday. Yeah, and then we had good news on Tuesday. So we had news on Tuesday. We had no news on Monday. A no news Monday, and I tried to take trades at 11:40. I probably should just sat out of that one. And I was missing the original bias because I was trying to go long in here as well. So Monday was just a bad trading day for me, and I just mismanaged it. Yeah, just mismanaged the trading day. Right here, we end up sweeping 4 hour. We have a 4 hour here that I think I kind of was just ignoring, and then a 1 hour. Let's see what confluences we had for shorts that day. This is market open. Came up. This just looked bullish in my opinion at first. That's why I took the first bullish trade. And then how could I have been bearish here? How could I have been bearish? I could have been bearish because of, let's see, is there anything? This 1 hour imbalance, maybe. Let's see if this is cherry picked. This could be cherry picked. Let's see. So this was the 1 hour. We were failing to displace through it, and we end up rejecting. We end up inversing here. So really, we just get an inverse. We get displacement. We get a pullback to a fair value gap. Again, I don't really see any real trade on Monday that was really great that I missed out on. I probably should have just seen this sell off and seen this distribution back up, and then been like, okay, we had a 100-point sell-off and then 100-point rebuy, and then just not look to take anything until we come into this area. I do believe this was a 5-minute fair value gap, and we're delivering from the 1 hour. So we had a 5-minute. I shouldn't have taken any longs until we come to this area, and when we got to this area, we never displaced back up. We inversed here. I guess that could have been an entry at some way, but not upset with not taking that one. So today, or Monday, could have been a day where we really avoided any trades, and then after we get this sell-off, I could have been done, because then we have chop work until 11, and I shouldn't be looking to place trades after 11, especially not at 11:40, and then I got chopped up in this. So that was a frustrating day after a frustrating week, but we turned this week around with a good Tuesday, a good no trade on Wednesday, and a good Thursday trade, and a good no trade on Friday today. So very, very happy with things, all things considered. And really just want to build on this for the next week, right? And just keep building these small habits, these winning habits, right? Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This new day opening gap will disappear next week. But where I would be looking for next week is I would want to see how this 4-hour fair value gap starts to play out. And if we end up running this imbalance, I could see us coming towards these lows here as the first and obvious draw with this low here. And I'd want to see a bearish week if we do get that, because the daily, right, we've never rebalanced, right? We've taken out the high, we finished the market maker model, and if we want to rebalance the daily chart, we could rebalance to equilibrium at least. But again, it's all speculation. We need to see how structure starts playing out. But happy with the week, right? It's a good week, even though we barely made any money. And that's why trading is pretty difficult to do, is because these small weeks that feel like nothing are very important. But it's just another week where we make $40 on the account, so just nothing really going for us. But in terms of decisions, in terms of days, we had a good day today, not trading. Good day, not trading Wednesday, but also learned a lot from price action Wednesday. Good day Tuesday and Thursday. It always seems like Tuesdays and Thursdays come through for me, and just I do well on those days. And yeah, that again, I just can't emphasize enough how difficult trading is in terms of the process. The process will always win, and sometimes the process is boring, sometimes the process is slow, sometimes the process is not there at all, sometimes you lose, right? And that is very, very tough to do, because you want things now, you want to succeed now, you want payouts now, you want all these different things now, but the reality is you're just not going to get it. You're not going to get exactly what you want with trading right away. You have to build the discipline, build the habits, and good things will come, because price action, if you can read price action well, which is a skill that you can learn, that can repeat, right? You get that down and you just understand different days better, right? The biggest thing I want to start improving on is what I did well today, and what I did well this week was recognizing daily conditions, right? Wednesday before FOMC, I could have agreed. I would have maybe found winners, but I decided to make a better decision, which was just to sit out, right? Today, I decided to not take any trades, which is good, because I could have been like, oh, it's Friday. I won't be able to trade for 2 days. I won't be able to get closer to passing my funded. Let me try and take something. And that would have resulted in harming me, because the one trade I would have taken would have lost. So it's a good thing that I didn't. I got lucky that I decided, or that I didn't take that trade on that account. So that's where I need to just keep progressing, is being okay on days where I know it's not going to be great. And then on days that's good, I need to, where I could do better as well, is that I need to be more aggressive and be more risk on, not risking more than 200, but more risk on in the sense of allowing myself to take a trade with a good position size, so that if it does succeed, it will actually, I'll actually benefit from the position and benefit from the trade, rather than just taking a $60 win. Again, I'm very, very happy with yesterday's trade, but it's just very, very small, and that's where, when I grow in confidence and grow in skill, I'll be able to really run those days up. Because again, this week, Monday, we could have avoided losses, but even with a losing Monday, we had a great Tuesday and Thursday, and we had no trades on Friday and Wednesday. So if we don't trade 2 of the days, we trade 3 of the days, and we win on 2 of the days, and we lose on 1 of the days, winning twice and losing once, you should always come ahead, and you should always come ahead decently well, right? Because you should come ahead even if you lose on one day and win on one day, you should still be ahead. So the fact that you win twice, you should really come out with a profitable week, which we did technically profit on the week, but we didn't have a massive win, right? So, and that's just because we risked $30 on our really good day on Thursday, and that's fine. I just have to keep growing and keep having these types of weeks, right? Because the more I can have one day where I lose, 2 winning days, and 2 days where I don't trade, that's a successful trader. That is a profitable trader. But right now, it's not manifesting as profitability because I still make too many mistakes when I execute my trades. I'm still too hesitant to put on size on good trades. I'm still too greedy on bad days. I'm still too forceful on days where I don't really have what I want to see. So once I can really, really dial these things in, which I'm slowly working on, chipping away and getting better each day, that's when the real progress will be made. And then the results that I want with trading are a lot closer than I think and feel, as long as I keep doing the right things, which is what I worked on well this week. So overall, a really good week, right? We made minimal mistakes, but we still made too many, and we still were too hesitant, right? But again, all of these things are going to come with time. They're all going to work themselves out. I'm going to improve because I'm actively focused on them, and I'm actively improving each day and learning and getting better and showing up. So they're going to improve, right? It's not going to ever get worse. It's just going to get better. It's just going to take time. All good things come with time. And I just have to submit to the process and understand that, again, that all those good things that I want aren't just going to come because I want them. They're going to come because of the actual steps and action I'm taking, right? It's not just, oh, I want this, I'm going to manifest this. It's manifestation is you manifesting good habits into your life, as in you actually taking action, right? Manifestation is you taking action physically and being the person that is the thing that you want, right? Manifestation is not sitting there and thinking, this is what it would feel like and smell like if I was in a Bugatti, right? Like, if you're just daydreaming about, driving a nice car or making a lot of money, then I hate to break it to you, but you're not doing anything for yourself. Manifestation is showing up every day, putting in work, getting better, putting in hard work, and doing the things that the person that you want to be will do, right? What is the person that I want to do, right? Stays healthy, eats good, sleeps good, good habits outside of trading, works hard in all aspects, right? Shows up every day, tries new things, isn't afraid to fail, keeps learning constantly, right? Those are the things that the future self of me that I want to be is doing, right? And that's what a successful person does, right? That's manifestation. It's not some, whatever. The law of attraction as well. That's what law of attraction is. You start operating at higher levels, and you start doing the higher level things, and you start getting better, and that's how you get there, right? It's not just a hope and wish, right? You're not just shaking a magic 8-ball and saying, will I get this, will I get that? It's actual action that you can take. You have actual control over your life. You have actual control over your skill set, over your destiny, over these things, right? All things with that, you can do all things with God, right? Because it's not a one-man show, right? You can't just control everything. Just because you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it every single time the way you want it. But if you work hard, I promise you will benefit, because hard work gets rewarded if you do the right thing and you have honest intentions, right? As long as you're doing the right thing, you will be rewarded. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your mind, and know and draw peace from that you cannot fail. You cannot fail if you keep showing up and having good days, good weeks, stacking that. You cannot fail because you are getting better. And if you're getting better, then eventually you're going to get to a point where you want to be. And that's really where trading, again, is very, very difficult, is because it's very, very hard to keep a very positive mindset and keep working, because it is very difficult. It'll take a long time. But you just have to keep understanding the end goal and keep understanding what would profitable me do, right? There's a lot of people that aren't any smarter than you, way less smart than you maybe. There's a lot of people that are whatever, all these different things that are succeeding in trading, and they're not succeeding in trading because they're smarter than you, because they know something you don't. It's because they've put in the time, they've put in the effort, they've learned constantly, and they've understood themselves, and they've mastered their own emotions, right? Someone could be a lot less intelligent than you, but have a lot better emotional control. And that has nothing to do with intelligence, knowledge, anything other than just understanding how to control yourself and how to control impulses, and just be that high functioning person that you need to be for trading. And again, that's just why trading is very difficult, is because you only are rewarded based on your decision making and being very, very high level. It's kind of like becoming an athlete, right? If you're an athlete and you're the star in college football and you go to the NFL, just because you made it to the NFL doesn't mean anything. Just because you pass a funded account doesn't mean anything, right? It means that you're on the right track. It means that you're on the right path, but it means that you still have a lot of work to do, right? When you're the rookie coming in, you're an 18-year-old, right? Like Endrick at Real Madrid, right? Obviously, fantastic that he's ever gotten there. He's making a lot of money, right? He's done great things. Most people will never get to that point, right? But if he just stops now, he's never going to make a starting role. He's never going to become a Madrid legend. He's never going to become any of these things that he could become, right? Because he still has to perform. And that's why trading is very similar to being a professional athlete, in the sense of it's a performance-based thing, right? Because just because you take a great trade today doesn't mean that tomorrow it's all done, right? You have to take a great trade tomorrow and the next day. Just like Endrick has to show up to training, and he has to succeed in training, right? So that he can get a appearance off the bench. And then when he comes off the bench, he needs to make an impression, right? He needs to do well. And then when he does well on the bench, he might get a starting role against a smaller team. And then when that happens, he has to play good again. And then when you get the starting role guaranteed, you have to play good with that. And then when competition comes in, you have to do better than them. And you have to train better and harder. Every single day, you're getting better. You're improving. You're never going backwards. You're always just proving. That's what trading is. And that's why it's difficult, and people don't realize is that you're not just doing one thing and learning one thing and being done. You have to show up every single day, and you have to perform regardless of what you did in the past, right? Just because Tom Brady was Tom Brady doesn't mean that on that last season that he was playing, doesn't mean that he doesn't show up and work hard just because of his name, right? If he shows up and doesn't work hard and doesn't have a good attitude, then the other guy's going to play over him, and that's just as simple as it is. And if you show up to trading, oh, I take a lot of winners, I'm just going to slack off, I can do whatever I want now and place trades however I want, or I can risk however much I want, right? And you don't do the right things, just because you've done it before doesn't mean that you're going to keep going. It's like a performance-based industry, and that's the hardest industries in the world are the ones that are based on day in, day out performance, right? Trading is day in, day out performance. Nothing else matters. Yesterday, the next day, nothing matters, right, besides performance in today, right? And that's the hard part, is because anything else, any other industry, it's not performance-based, right? It's just you learn, you do your job, and you do a mundane, same thing over and over, rinse and repeat, right? Trading is not rinse and repeat in the sense of every single day you're showing up and you got to do your best. You got to do your best, right? You can get away with not doing your best if you're a teacher, right? Because, it's just one day, right? Over the course of a year, you have to do all right. But, if you show up one day and don't do well, it's fine. It's not performance-based. But in trading, if you show up and you don't perform, you're going to lose. And sometimes you perform well and you still lose. That's not the point. I don't mean to focus on losing or winning. I just mean to emphasize if you show up and take the wrong thing or FOMO or whatever, greed, fear, and you show up and you fail that day, then it's going to be reflected into your results. And that's why, again, trading is so difficult, is because it's a performance-based industry, and to operate at a high level is hard. It's hard to operate at a high level for a reason, because you're operating at a high level. So trading demands very, very high skill level and decision-making and emotional control and impulse control, and that's very, very difficult stuff to do. So again, very, very happy with this week. The only reflection I have, again, to end on is just I need to learn how to love the process more than I do now, because I'm wanting results more than I'm enjoying the process of getting better, right? Because objectively, Wednesday, no trade. Today, no trade, great. Thursday, Tuesday, made a mistake on the days, but had good ideas, good patience, good executions, just mismanaged them, right? Very good. Thursday was our best day, and it was a $60 day, right? But the fact that that was our best day, but it doesn't feel great because it's only $60, I need to learn from. So I need to keep getting better every single day, keep learning, and just keep accepting the process, and I will get to where I want to be. You guys are seeing the work get put in. Even just last week, negative $700 week. The world seemed like it was over, right? And again, we don't come in and make that money back, but what do we do to come back with? We come back with a great performance through the week overall, where we still have mistakes we can fix, but we come in with a great performance, right? Last week, we thought we lost all our knowledge. I had no confidence in myself, and now we come back with a fresh mind, and we come back and we do well. We lower our size, we lower our risk, we don't trade 2 of the days, and we get rewarded for it, and then we just keep coming, keep building, right? I want to build next week, do the same thing, right? And remove the idea of losses being bad, and just come in with the mindset of, is it a high probability day? No. Is it a low probability day? Whatever, whatever the conditions are, execute based on them. If it's a day where I shouldn't trade, I don't trade and don't feel bad about it. And if it's a day that I do want to trade, I take my trades and I execute better each time. And last thing is just if we have a good week coming up. Let's see, the week of the second Monday, we do have news on Monday, so Monday could be a day that we get a trade. And then Tuesday, we have news, so Tuesday could be a good trading day. Wednesday, maybe a little bit slower. Thursday, we have 8:30 news, so that's good. Hopefully this is a day where we get a data trade. And then Friday, we have some 8:30 news CPI. So we look like we have a decent week coming up. Very excited for that. This price run right here, since I've been talking, looks very bullish. So I would like to see some sort of move up, especially when there's 15-minute inverses. I would like to see a 15-minute fair value gap created, and then a market maker buy model to this high, maybe, or this high here. But again, it's Friday after a long week, right? We're not going to place any expectations on the market. But the last thing I want to end with is that, one, we hit 1,800 subscribers, which is really cool, and two, we have a great video. We have a great video with, if anyone knows Blazin, the YouTuber who has been killing it recently. We have a really cool video coming out either tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday, where I interviewed him on a Discord call, just asked him a bunch of questions, right? He's been killing it. He's been having crazy days. He had an $18,000 day across his Express accounts, and he's just a monster trader. So I was very fortunate to be able to interview him and get that for you guys and myself. So that will be coming out this weekend, guaranteed. So definitely look out for that video. It's the best video on my account because it's like one of the only real videos besides just market reviews, right? So it's definitely the best video I've gotten, maybe behind the video that has the most views on my page, just because that was also a nice video I like too, that I posted on July 4th. But definitely be on the lookout for that video because it will be dropping either Saturday, probably around midday Eastern Standard Time, or Sunday if I don't set everything up for tomorrow. So definitely look for that video. It's going to be great. And there's probably only about 10 people that are at this point in the video that know about that. But hey, you got the heads up, and you're gonna see the video. So be on the lookout. I'm telling you, it's a great video. That a lot of interesting talking points. He gave some good advice. Right? I asked him questions that I wanted to ask that I'm sure other people in the community are curious about. So check it out. It will not disappoint. But again, I appreciate everyone that watched the videos. And good week. Have some fun this weekend. Go outside. Be active. Be healthy. Stay safe. I'll see you guys on Monday, even though you're going to see a video this weekend. Peace.